Hello, this is your host, as always, Gina Versa. It's another episode of Serving Up Comics in the new year, and I'm always joined by my good friend Nick Valero. How are you, Nick?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good to see you. Good to see you. How are you doing in post 2020 year? You're 2021 now.
My hair's still growing, my beard's still growing, and luckily the world hasn't ended, so I think we're
Yeah.
doing pretty well.
Well, you got a competent, somewhat, mostly competent, non-reality TV star for president. So
I know, news is going to be so boring now.
yeah, I don't.
Instead of like, oh yeah, he tried to like blackmail a prostitute, it's going to be like, he passed legislation today about
He was wearing
about helping people in need. It's like, well, fuck this. I don't need to pay attention to the news anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. He's wearing a tan suit.
Yeah. Oh no, it was so risque.
Oh, no.
He ordered a burger at a hot dog joint. Oh no.
I hope he wears a tan suit just to like troll Fox News.
Yeah.
I hope he gets like Dijon mustard when he goes somewhere, so that way he can also get yelled at for being a prissy little bastard like fucking Obama was.
Yeah.
They were just like, "Do you like that rich condiment, Mr. President?" It's just like Dijon mustard, you asshole.
Yeah. Go back. They're like, go back to France, but but someone that needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. We're joined today by our good friend Terence.
Hello.
How are you doing, my friend, Terence James?
As good as ever. You know, just doom scrolling on Twitter still, and
oh no,
that's fun.
Don't want to
keeps
do
me
that.
up at night.
Terrence, I have a question. Is your thumb and or index finger, are they like super buff now? Because it's just
like, basically.
Wow, look at that.
This is my scrolling thumb. This is my regular thumb.
You can just crack a walnut in it.
Got too much time on your hands. But
also, I don't have it here. My phone is really heavy. It's a Razer phone, so like I have big hands and it still doesn't cover. And it's just really heavy. It's stupid, and it has this dumb because I'm so cool in Gamer Boy now, but like, yeah, it hurts when I'm scrolling and it falls on my face or on my chin or on my neck.
Wow.
It's okay.
Like it'll knock you out.
I have the note, so it's just.
Oh, there you go. You feel my pain.
Like I've been literally like looking at shit in bed, and then it fell out of my hand and hit me right in the fucking head.
Yeah.
I only have. Yeah, I only have a regular iPhone, but
no
it has a cover.
Get it out of here.
It has this like bulky cover. It'll hit me. But anyway,
I dare you have an iPhone. Get the shit out of here.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what they say about people with big hands? Big phones.
Big phones.
Big phones. But Terence, we've had you multiple times now on the podcast, and it's been pretty great each time. So it's good to have you back again. And
yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, probably the biggest anime fan I know. So it's cool to lend your expertise for this episode because we're talking about anime, and especially we're focusing on Neon Genesis Evangelion, which hopefully will have out its last movie this year if COVID doesn't kill us all. But we just wanted to make a quick announcement that we'll have a new segment since Batman the Animated Series, which is now streaming on HBO Max. We're going to rewatch some of that show and kind of give you our thoughts on each couple of episodes, me and Nick. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to rewatch it because I've already rewatched it like 10 times. And
there you go.
Be like, oh, which episode is this? Oh, I know what it is. Okay, don't worry about
it. I haven't rewatched it since I was a kid. So it's been without giving away too many thoughts, it's been very eye-opening because the way the seriousness of the show, and it's an angry show, and I never realized that until now.
It is.
Yeah,
it is a super angry show. Like people are pissed.
Yeah.
In that TV show.
Well, yeah.
I started watching it on HBO Max, and I'm like that first one or two episodes. I'm like, wait, was it this dark when I was like 8 or 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Fucking
like
awesome.
also like it's very like nuanced, like because there's like our shifting moods now, but like the way they portray like the police in the show, like people like Bullock are like portrayed like either like really aggressive or like just totally incompetent.
You ever want to see how policing has evolved? Go watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious.
Also on HBO Max.
Yeah, also on HBO Max. So if you have an HBO Max, go watch it too. But no, like there's a lot of like scenes where like they talk about like police brutality, or they talk about how what was it, like the unjustness of African Americans inside of it. Like there's an entire scene where Jazz is in a courtroom and he's like, "Yeah, there's a cop with a gun, dude. I'm gonna keep my hands up."
He raises his hand.
Yeah. And then he like talks slow, like, "I'm going to put my hands down."
Yeah. No, that's a, really, I mean, for the time it was funny, but, I mean, it's also meaningful too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they were fresh from the riots too. They were fresh from the LA riots.
Yeah.
When that show started airing.
The riots happened in 92, I believe.
Fresh Prince came out like 92, 93.
Yeah. So no, it definitely was. But I was just gonna say,
since I was born.
Yeah. Well, Batman the animated series also came out in 92, and it might according to Kevin Smith, there may or may not have a sequel series coming out.
Yeah, I heard about that rumor.
Even more incentive to talk about it. Which I don't know if anyone read the comic that came out last year. The Adventure Continues.
No.
I did.
No.
Yeah, it's a sequel to the new Batman Adventures in terms of continuity. So it comes out like around the Justice League era for the DC animated universe created by Bruce Timm.
Yeah, isn't that just Justice League?
Yeah, Justice League, but this chronicles, and this is in continuity now because Paul Dini and a lot of them worked on it, that there was a Robin in between Dick Grayson and Tim Drake, which was Jason Todd. So he exists in the DC animated universe. So if they adapted that, I'd be really happy because I thought that was it's only like 6 issues and it's really well written.
Well, honestly, I feel like the Jason Todd thing would be a great thing for them to kind of like, especially with how dark and gritty that show was and the animation style and how they tried to at least make it a little bit fun, but also still have like a purpose and a meaning to each episode. I would love to see him kind of go into the death of the family arc, or even like go into like Damian Wayne stuff.
Yeah,
like I would love to see how, especially with like Kevin Conroy and everybody else too, then go, "Oh yeah, you have a kid with Talia al Ghul. What the fuck do we do now? Like we have this fucking kid." So that would be really cool. Also, getting Kevin Conroy back as the Batman is always amazing.
Yeah, he's never going to give up that role. Like he's going to be as old as like old Batman. He'll still be voicing him.
Oh yeah, dude, hell yeah.
But no, that'd be interesting because they do kind of make a reference to Damian Wayne in Batman Beyond, because when Ra's al Ghul comes back in Talia's body, he mentions when he's trying to take over Bruce's body, he says he'll pose as like his long lost son or something, and take over Wayne Corp. So not unheard of. So that'd be cool, but we'll like wait and see, I guess, because I mean this is all rumor and hearsay, but I'd be down. I'm sure you guys would be.
What was the network that did the animated series again?
So it aired originally on Fox Kids, I believe, for its original run, and at some point they had the reboot, or not reboot, kind of sequel show, The New Batman Adventures, which aired on Kids WB, and they probably re-aired the original animated series episodes as well.
Yeah, just for that, it was Kids WB. They but it was for all of it. They didn't go to Fox in the very beginning.
Okay.
It was Kids WB.
I might be thinking of maybe Gargoyles is what you're thinking of. That's what was on Fox, right?
No, it was on
Kids WB. Because Gargoyles was on Disney.
It was on Disney. No, but Batman the Animated Series was on Fox for a bit.
Was it?
Yeah, look it up.
Probably back in the 90s. Because when I first got introduced to Batman the Animated Series, it was on Kids WB.
Yeah, well, I mean, this was like 92 when it originally aired, so you were like.
I only brought it up again because I think they set the precedent for how wide you can make both Bruce and Clark in the Superman respective series. So like,
Yeah.
they didn't bring that back until Henry and Ben
Yeah.
brought back the wide look. I hope they maintain that wide look at least in the DC
Just the
EU.
fucking
Yeah.
hulking, just like
They're all thick.
the idea of if you were to see these men in real life, you were to go, that guy kind of has the shape of Bruce Wayne. I mean, of Batman and also Superman.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also still also going with that. I do have a what was it, Public Enemy, or I think it's Public Enemy, or where
Yeah, you're right.
Joker and what was it? It's Joker and Lex Luthor team up to go like commit a crime, and then like Batman comes to Metropolis. I think he has one of the best interactions with Batman and Superman, as like an introduction of like, who the hell are you? I'm Batman. Fuck you. Oh, you're Bruce Wayne. And then him tracking Superman back down. He goes like, yeah, I know who you are too, Clark.
Yeah. Yeah,
One of the
that's
greatest things.
The World's Finest. That's a really great.
Oh, The World's Finest. That's
yeah.
what it was. Yes.
That's a great. I think it was aired as a movie or an
It was.
episode first.
Yeah, it was a movie. Yeah, it was awesome. So good.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love that. And yeah, it has like a love triangle with like Bruce Wayne and
Lois
Clark Kent.
Lane.
Yeah,
It's
Clark
Lois
Kent.
Lane, Clark Kent, and Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really interesting thing because it's like she likes Superman and Bruce Wayne, but she doesn't like Batman and Clark Kent.
Yeah,
You know,
it's their alter egos, man.
they're alter egos that are like the problem for her.
Also because Clark Kent's kind of a bitch. If you watch that show, Clark Kent's kind of a bitch. He just
a little bit. He's kind of
shit just happens to him, and he's like, all right, fine, whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we'll see. But what is everyone reading in their time right now? Is there any sort of like new comics or anything people want to talk about here?
Yes, I am reading Black Clover right now.
Okay.
Nice.
And I am I'm caught up, and it's awesome. For anybody who hasn't whoever hasn't seen Black Clover or read Black Clover, Black Clover is all about a world of magic users where they all get their own like grimoires. And then your main character, he cannot cast magic. He has no magic affinity, and instead is given a grimoire of anti-magic, and is now like put into the situations of like, how exactly do I fight these uber powerful magic users and kind of save the kingdom? And it's awesome. It's a great story, great great character developments. I love the characters that are in it. Like, he has an entire crew of people that he talks to, which are called the Black Bulls, that have like other factions that they also have to like compete with, but they're also like rivals and stuff like that. And like the entire thing just kind of comes together really beautifully.
Nice.
I saw the anime for that, and I liked it, but after a couple episodes, people were like, wait, why does the main character scream so much when he talks? And eventually I had to give it up because it was getting way too annoying. So I might pick up the manga because you can't hear screams on page.
Yeah.
So,
is it dubbed or like the original?
It's dubbed.
Okay.
It's dubbed.
Is the dub screaming?
I haven't seen the dub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the dub does have screaming. It does.
Oh, there you go. So I guess just read the manga.
Well, no, but the thing is that I got used to it. I mean, if anybody who's seen Naruto knows that screaming is kind of just a thing that comes with anime.
Yeah.
So,
People were
Dragon
calling
Ball Z, Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho, gotta get used to it.
People were calling Black Clover the next Naruto for a while when it first came out on Crunchyroll.
Uh-huh.
I could see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are pretty big shoes, though.
Yeah,
Naruto? I mean, as long as they don't have an ostrich episode, I think they're good.
It's like Naruto and it's like sequel show. Is that still running?
No, they went on to technically, because now there's a third show, which is called Baruto, which is like the next generation, and it's shit.
Oh.
And
yeah, people just ignore it. They don't even acknowledge it.
It's like it's like that.
There's a big problem with it because like the show is in episode 300 and the manga is in like issue 57, and no one understands where the fuck that came from. Like, they're just like, stop making them. Just follow what they're writing. Like what they're writing is good. Stop. You're just
Have you seen
doing
those
bad
memes?
shit.
Is it
Yeah.
is it like Harry Potter and the Cursed Child where all the fans hate it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it's not only that, but also it's the thing of like because like what people are doing is they're getting like the original series and they're going like episode 135 and like you see like an epic battle between like Gaara and Lee, and then they're going like Boruto episode 135 and it's like a birthday party for their grandfather.
Yeah.
And they're like, how the fuck is this the same series? Like, how is this, like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And it's basically almost 150 episodes of filler at this point. Where it's
Oh my
like,
god, that's worse than Dragon Ball.
yeah, where it's just like, what the hell is
Wow.
going? It's an entire series of fucking filler, and no one gets why.
There's memes where it's like someone should make a series about Boruto's dad.
Wow, definitely.
Naruto is basically the only.
I watched Naruto for like maybe the first couple of seasons, and I fell out. And like I really couldn't stand a little bit of the fandom, but I couldn't stand just kind of like I couldn't stand Naruto after a while. Like he's like Goku if Goku was like 10 times more annoying.
How fucking dare you?
Yeah.
Is Naruto a better dad? Is Naruto?
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah.
Hold on.
Of course.
In retrospect, yes, until he becomes Hokage, because then there are episodes of like his daughter is having a birthday party.
Yeah.
And then he shows up, and then there's like trouble that happens inside the village, and then you find out that the person that showed up for the birthday party is a shadow clone. And it bursts and it blows up her cake.
Wow.
And Boruto is like, that bastard.
Well, I mean that's still better than like abandoning his kids for like 7 years in another world.
Hey. He if anything, he put them up for adoption, and Piccolo kind of just took them in like they were his own kin, and he found a better dad. Okay, he found a better dad.
Yeah,
a better but more abusive dad. How does that work? That's funny.
Well, I mean, like
hold on. If you've watched Super, you would know. Piccolo is like the greatest grandfather ever.
Yeah,
I want Piccolo.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
I want Piccolo to be like when Pan grows up and she can speak. I want her to call Piccolo Grandpa, because that's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah,
always there. He's always caring for Gohan's kid.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Don't they call him like Uncle Piccolo or something? Or
no.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Piccolo is always going to be
he always calls him Mr. Piccolo, like because Gohan has that fucking respect for him.
Yeah. He's like, remember when I almost died because you left me alone overnight? Yeah, I love you, Mr. Piccolo.
No, everyone knows Piccolo.
Hey man, Piccolo's the best dad I've ever seen in anime. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Him and Vegeta.
Yeah, actually,
Vegeta's such a good dad.
Yeah, Vegeta's a better dad than Goku.
Yeah.
Vegeta actually like fulfills his promises to his kids.
Yeah. He took them to the theme park when he said he wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, there's also that, but also later in Super, they're going off to like, go fight the big bad, and then he's just like, I can't go.
Yeah.
Like, why? It's like Bulma's gonna give birth any day. I can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's gonna give birth.
And Goku's also, like, what?
Yeah, and also Goku doesn't know what kissing is apparently, so I don't know what kind of weird ass sex
you
have.
Yeah, that's that's why I'm like hesitant to get into Super, because like they mischaracterize Goku as just like, because he's kind of dumb in the original anime, but like in Super he's just fucking stupid. You know, he's just fucking dumb.
The original anime, he's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not like stupid to the degree where he doesn't know like how to kiss or like what sex is, you know.
Have you not seen Dragon Ball?
He thought it
was
like adult Goku.
Like in Dragon Ball, he thought marriage was food.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he said he wanted something.
Like this.
To be fair, everyone's named after food there, so
yeah. No, but it's the Goku that's like, you know, the mature version of Goku that, you know, towards the later part of the anime. He like he regresses in Super for like whatever reason. Because Toriyama forgot.
No, it's because he gets hit in the head so much. Come on, guys.
Yeah, probably. It's
when
brain
you get
damage.
hit in the head so many times by god level figures.
Oh man.
See if you still have your smarts.
This is man, terrible joke. But like, do you think Toriyama does too? Because he forgets about like everything.
Toriyama's an interesting person.
No, that's what happens when you don't put post-it notes on like your desk.
Yeah. But anyway, Terrence, are you reading any anime or like manga or anything?
I read a web comic last
Okay.
back in December called Alpha Flag.
Mhm.
It's been around for about 10 years. My friend actually works on it, and they just updated it. I think a couple days ago. It's really good. I can't really explain it. It's kind of a it's really hard to explain, but like just check it out. It's called Alpha Flag, and I
Working.
don't usually read web like Western web comics.
Mhm.
I usually kind of read like webtoons, so Korean stuff, or
Oh,
I'll read
okay.
manga. So it's like
Nice.
the first like kind of American, I guess Eastern or Western web comic I've read in a while.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Working.
I'm thinking of rereading Scott Pilgrim
Nice.
because like when I first read it, I was the exact same age as Scott, so I was like 23, going
Yeah.
on 24, and now I'm 34. So I'm like, I wonder how much I hate myself now.
At that
Like,
age.
how much do I hate Scott now? How much do I hate Ramona now? How much do
Uh-huh.
I hate all these characters now?
I think you definitely would hate Scott. I
Yeah,
don't know about Ramona, but yeah, I feel like definitely Scott because like Kim and the other characters, some are more mature than I thought.
Well,
yeah,
also, from what I remember from reading it, Scott's a dick.
Yeah, he
yeah.
really is.
Like when you really think about it, Scott Pilgrim is a fucking like he kind of deserves everything that's coming to
Hmm.
him. He's not
He's
a
also
great
dating a
person.
17-year-old in the very
Yeah,
beginning.
Yeah, like he's not a
but
great person.
is that underage though in
In
Canada?
Canada, I don't think so,
Okay.
but it's
Someone
still
should
like
someone should ask what's it Brian Lee O'Malley about that because that's a very weird plot line when you think about it. Nick's typing, looking it up.
like someone's looking it
Oh
up.
my god. Okay, but yeah, no, I'd want to reread Scott Pilgrim for sure, and like the
16 is the consensual
oh
age
my
in
god,
Canada.
Canada's fucking weird. Fucking Canada, eh? Yeah.
Oh come on, they use plastic for their dollar bills. That's fine.
But anyway, the colored edition of Scott Pilgrim, the Magna, I heard is pretty
Mhm.
cool. So
Hey,
check
Gene, we
that
Yeah, it
don't
out.
looks good.
differentiate, okay? All of them are good. Okay,
Okay,
it doesn't matter if they're black and white, colored, doesn't matter. Okay,
sure,
we accepting of all types of comic books. Okay,
sure. But yeah, I was right now I'm currently reading Batman Catwoman by Tom King, which
okay,
is it's been consistently good.
Mhm.
It brings the Phantasm from Batman Mask of the Phantasm into continuity.
Oh, okay.
So that's really cool. Going back to Batman the animated series, I'd recommend that.
yeah,
And the next Batman, which is DC Future State, which is a rebranding of whatever they were going to do when the previous publisher was calling 5Gs. It has a black Batman who's the son of Lucius Fox, and he's taking over because Batman kind of bails on Gotham, and it's kind of like Batman Beyond, where it's like someone else taking up the mantle in a more militarized police state Gotham. And I'd really recommend it. It's written by John Ridley, who did 12 Years a Slave, and he also wrote
Mhm.
Justice League Starcrossed, the movie.
I really
Hmm.
like those incarnations of it. Like I really like when Jim Gordon actually becomes Batman. And he's
Yeah,
in like
that
a
was
battle
yeah,
suit. Like
yeah.
that
He
was
was in
really
a
cool.
giant like Magna sort of tech thing.
Yeah, he was like in a battle suit. He was just like, "Yeah, I'm Batman," and it's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, exactly. that was cool. Yeah, like I'd recommend that.
I think that
But
was like during the time that Batman dies after getting killed
yeah, it was after
in
Batman
Infinite Crisis.
Endgame.
Yeah, it's after Endgame. He ends up like Commissioner Gordon comes back in this mech suit. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, I would
Hmm.
recommend that. So yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about that. And in terms of back issues, I'm reading. I'm trying to read like more '70s comics. So I picked up on a torrent site, may or not be, Super Villain Team Up, which is the weirdest Marvel '70s comic because it's a team up series starring Doctor Doom. So you have to follow Doctor Doom,
Mhm.
and it's like really weird and like it's pretty serious, but then it has like really kind of like '70s stuff. So like random villains like the Ringmaster or like uh, the Submariner show up, and also it has a scene where Doctor Doom like negotiates with Dr. Henry Kissinger from Amnesty. He gets
What?
yeah, there's a little scene where the Fantastic Four try to invade, and then like Dr. Henry Kissinger tells them to leave because now they have Latveria is recognized by the United States. So
Oh, this was the world events conscious era of
yeah,
Marvel, where
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, we have a lot of commentary on things.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
we need to tell stories about like everybody being like okay with other nations.
But you know, Henry Kissinger finally found someone eviler than him in Doctor Doom. Or no, excuse me, Doctor Doom found someone just as evil as him.
That's pretty cool. Actually, Gene, if you really like stories like that, I would definitely recommend, since technically we are talking about anime this episode,
Yeah.
I would recommend Overlord.
Okay.
I heard that was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, Overlord is so basically it's about this guy who enters an MMORPG for the last time. They're about to shut down the servers at midnight. And he has like an entire castle of NPCs that he's built and like all these like things that he's had. And he was basically a villain inside of the NPC world. I mean, inside of this virtual reality world. But the thing is that once the clock strikes midnight, he actually wakes up inside of this world. And now it's not connected to any server, and now he's trapped in an alternate world. And he basically has to live his life now as this supervillain. And it's really cool because it's like he's in this like brand new world. He's like kind of trying to figure it out. But imagine if you were like a level 100 character that gets dropped in with a bunch of level 10s. You're just a god.
Yeah.
And it's all about him, like, you know, like using the puppet strings to like kind of become the like conqueror of the world. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely would want to check that out.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to get into more anime, and I have time now, so
yeah. Season, which I don't understand because season 1 and 3 on Hulu. Season 2 you'll have to find. I don't know why.
Terence, you seen this? No.
No, I remember when it was the anime first came out. It was kind of like people were saying it was pretty S tier. It was pretty up there in terms of that season's anime. Oh yeah, and my friend kept getting it confused with the World War II like horror film Overlord.
Overlord, yeah.
And like he was like explaining it to me. I was like, wait, this doesn't sound like anime at all. And I was like, oh, he's talking about the movie. Okay.
having a brain fart.
Wait, what about World War II? What about zombie Nazis?
I think what's going on
here?
What
to do with anything? It's a fucked up anime, man.
But,
yeah, that genre, I think it's called the isekai, which is basically like where someone gets whisked away to like another world, but they're from a modern setting. That's getting so popular right now, and it's like Japan just wants to escape so badly.
Wow,
they want to escape so much.
Well, yeah, because you have, I mean, and a lot of them are also like Rise of the Shield Hero. SAO, which are
SAO
online.
No Game, No Life is a popular one. Yeah.
No Game, No Life, but unfortunately, you don't have a second season, so you know.
Yeah, I also that show creeps me out. I can't sit through it anymore.
It's only kind of creepy, you know. Like, come on, you don't have a step sibling that you're kind of too close to.
You guys are not giving me good recommendations right now, but I'll take the first one. I'll take Overlord.
Oh! You can also another one that you can watch is The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be really good.
That one's really good too.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. That's. I'll keep that in mind.
Anime is weird.
Yeah. It's so I guess that leads us to our main topic of the show, which is talking about my favorite anime, Neon Genesis Evangelion, which came out in Japan from Gainax, in the 90s. I believe 96. Correct me if I'm wrong, Terence.
95, I believe.
95.
95.
I think that's when the VHS started. Or 96, I think, was when the VHS came out, or 97.
Right.
Gene, it is currently 2020. How is it that your favorite anime is from 95? Do you know how many anime have come out from 95 till now?
Well, I mean, there's others, but this one really resonates with me. So
there's like thousands of them.
No, don't judge me. You still have, the movie. But what was everyone's introduction to the anime? Was it from airing on Cartoon Network, on Netflix, getting the VHS, or even like seeing that weird reference Robin Williams makes to it in the movie 1 Hour Photo? He pulls out a toy and it's Neon Genesis Evangelion, but he says it. I think he says Evangelion.
Yeah, he says it wrong.
Yeah, people are like, oh, like they did that because Robin was a big anime fan, which he was, but apparently he wasn't like an Evangelion fan. It was just like at random the director chose that. And there were toys, I would imagine, in a CVS or something.
I'm assuming that like they were just like, hey, Robin wants an anime thing. That one of the interns was like, I got this.
Yeah.
And they put it into the thing, and then like they were just like, yeah, pick it up, Robin, go for it.
Well, what was everyone's introduction? Yeah.
To Evangelion? I had never watched Evangelion completely as a kid. I didn't end up watching it until I was an adult. Like
it only aired like once on Toonami, right?
Yeah, like I never ended up like watching it like, completely through. Like if anything, I think I watched like pieces of episodes.
Yeah. So when you were watching the original ending for the anime, you're like, what the fuck?
You know what? Okay, here's the thing though. When I watched I thought we were gonna get to that later.
Yeah.
But the original ending, back then when I was a kid, I thought my TV broke. But now as an adult, I understand it a little bit more, and I kind of respect it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like, it's not the ideal ending they wanted, but it's not as terrible as, like, some of the fans made it out to be, especially the crazy people, I guess, who, like, emailed death threats or something.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. First off, in all fairness, death threats, yeah, that's not cool. No shape or form and no piece of art should you ever go, yeah, I'm gonna send a letter to the person who created it because I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah.
That's not warranted in any fucking fashion.
It's probably the same people who stormed the Capitol.
Yeah.
they might be related. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But the thing is that for Evangelion, I think the problem was that it just wasn't the ending that people wanted. In all fairness, I like the show's ending better than I like the movie's ending.
Okay.
Because the show's ending is actually, because after all this like dread and despair throughout the anime, it's like, oh yeah, there's light at the end of this dark and gruesome tunnel. And then the movie anime is like, fuck you. Fuck you hard.
Well,
whatever happiness, whatever darkness is there, go further into the dark because that's where you live now.
Well,
it's just too depressing.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we're jumping ahead, but for end of Evangelion, I actually think it's a very hopeful ending. I don't know if like Terence could like clarify. It's like open for interpretation, but I think the fact that like Shinji still chose to be himself over like being like was it fucking where they're all a collective? What's that called?
What are you talking about?
The unification thing at the end.
Oh, the instrumentality?
Instrumentality. Yeah. Like the fact that him and Asuka chose to not do that and like other people can come back from instrumentality, I think is pretty hopeful.
Congratulations! Congratulations! That's still my favorite part of the entire series.
It really is, yeah.
Like, hey, Shinji, you chose to be yourself, and you're okay with being yourself. Yay! Took us 26 episodes to get here.
Took a lot of therapy.
Well, that's honestly what the last 4 episodes are. It's a therapy session.
Yeah.
It's just like them inside of Shinji's mind going, hey, we're going to sit down and have a therapy session with you until you figure out why you're fucking broken.
It's Dr. Katz, the anime.
Dr. Katz. There needs to be a good mashup between that.
Yeah.
Dr. Katz like talking to Shinji.
But yeah, I mean, but the greatest thing about Evangelion is probably it has like a huge like misleading. The anime completely misleads you from like what's going to happen at the end of the anime. Like the entire time, it seems kind of episodic. Okay, cool. They're fighting. They're in the mechs. They're fighting these things off, and everybody kind of is always asking, "What is the purpose? Like, why are we doing this? Or like, why are the angels attacking us?" And they're just like, "Because they attack. Like that's just a thing that's been happening for decades. Like, We don't know why it happens. We just know it happens.
Yeah.
And then once you get closer to the ending of it, it evolves into this like weird religious like metaphor, which is
Right.
kind of interesting. It's really interesting.
It has a lot of metaphorical stuff, or even like I don't know if you guys heard for the end of Evangelion where they have a lot of like religious imagery and instrumentality, and someone asked Anno, "What does that mean?" And he said, "Oh no, it's just there for show. It's just all cosmetic."
Cool.
It just
looks cool.
Bullshit.
It looks
Yeah,
cool.
that's what he says.
How could you even say that? Literally, how could you say that? The fucking final boss is fucking on a cross being crucified. The three main the three main things that are keeping the fucking brains together are the three wise men that came to Jesus in the middle of the night. The security code was 666 in order to keep them there.
Yeah, I think he was meaning like when Ray turns into like Hyper Ray or whatever, and they have like the like symbols of like Hindu religion and like the Cabal and like some Christian imagery. Like that's specifically
the crosses.
The crosses. He said, "Oh, it just looks cool."
So I don't know if you know, but like the ending of end of Evangelion specifically, like the ocean LCL and everything like that. That's a huge reference to Devilman. And so basically, Anno was like, I just want to do that. I want to recreate that. And he kind of shoehorned, I think, his explanation for everything into that so he can have a big homage to Devilman. Devilman Crybaby, which came out, I think, 2 or 3 years ago on Netflix, actually maintains that Devilman ending. And it looks just like End of Evangelion.
Wow.
So people who are watching Devilman Crybaby are probably like, oh, they just ripped off End of Evangelion. But it's not. It's a total homage to itself, basically.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's pretty neat. That's that's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about Evangelion that's mainly really interesting is that how much Evangelion has really influenced anime today.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to take an anime like Attack on Titan, you completely see the two correlations between the two. Like, there are such huge things of like, oh yeah, the dad is keeping secrets from the son, and the son is kind of pushed into a situation that he doesn't want anything about, and then
mommy issues.
Like he has mommy issues, or
definitely a lot of mom issues.
But there's a lot of stuff that like, oh yeah, we don't understand this, and now we're gonna go into it. And I think that Evangelion also, along with like what was it, Mobile Suit Gundam, really did kind of influence the beginning of those like super mech like animes and stuff like that. And like if you were to put Evangelion right next to like Pacific Rim as well, you can totally see the fucking like that. Oh yeah, this is what influenced it.
Yeah, exactly.
It influences so many fucking mediums.
Exactly. But Terrence, what was your introduction to the anime? I'm curious. We kind of skipped around a little bit.
Oh, so I remember, because I'm a little bit older than you guys, I was probably 95. That means I was probably 8 years old. So around 10 is when the VHS started coming out. So I remember seeing commercials for it in other anime tapes, and I was like, "Why is this wimpy kid showing up in all these weird trailers?" And there's like a robot. I'm like, "Is the kid the main character?" So I finally rented it just based off of seeing some kid in a white T-shirt on the cover, and I was like, okay, cool. This is cool. It was the episode when Shinji and Asuka have to have full, complete mind meld and coordination in order to defeat that angel.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, because they didn't have all the episode 1 through 26 at the video store I was renting them at. So it wasn't until maybe college then I watched all of it, all the way through, plus End of Evangelion. But I have a weird story for you. I remember being maybe 15. My friend was turning 16. I was at his house for his birthday party. There's just a bunch of us dudes, Bosco dudes. We were just hanging out, and he was just like, guys, check this out. And he puts on specifically that scene in End of Evangelion where Shinji walks into the hospital.
Oh my
And
god.
I think I was playing video games while they were watching it in the background, and I stopped because I was like, "Why are they all grossed out?" And I get up, and right when I look at the TV, that's when Shinji goes, "I'm so fucked up," and I was like, "Why is that? What's on his hand? What's all that gross stuff?" Like, and then like finally in college, I watched it and then I understood everything. But just imagine me just like not knowing what was going on in that scene.
Yeah,
that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
that's
I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. I would be that I would say that's like Evangelion in a nutshell almost, where it really kind of like I wouldn't say pushes, but it deals a lot with like sexuality and like repression too. So that's like yeah, I mean I know that seems like is it controversial? Would anyone say?
I think at the time it was.
Right, right.
Because, I mean, like, just wow, you saw a boob and you just thought of jerking it in a hospital room.
Right.
That's your main character.
Yeah, but like the context of that is like Shinji is like just like he's at like a psychological breaking point, you know? So he's not like all there. So, you know, like that's kind of the context some people you know, I mean it's just it is that, but it's also like that context too.
Gene,
Plus
no
he's
matter
going
how
through
much of a
puberty.
no matter how much of a psychological break you have, that's a fucking weird thing.
Yeah, no, of course, but I'm just adding
Like,
the context.
Doesn't matter. It's a weird ass thing to do.
But yeah.
Maybe I mean you could probably think of it as Ano's way of commenting on otaku culture.
Yeah, no, that's what it also is basically. Yeah, it's talking about tacos. Yeah.
Did you say tacos?
Otaku.
Yeah, taco culture.
It's taco culture. But once again, you can see how that correlates to modern anime, because at the time you didn't really see a whole lot of that. You know, most characters were either clothed or anything like that. And
right.
To actually see, I guess full frontal or like side boob or anything like that was kind of like out of the norm. Because I mean, yes, they hinted at a lot of sexuality, but if you watch a lot of like older anime, they would always be like, oh yeah, it's covered in like wrappings, or she stays covered, or it's always insinuated. It's never like put right in your face or like shown as if it was a movie or television or something like that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And
or they don't draw the nipple.
Yeah, or they don't draw the nipple, or they always put like a cloud of mist right where the nipple is.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, those are the themes of the show. I was just gonna say that actually my when I started watching it was on Netflix. That was my first time. I was probably I knew of the anime, but the Netflix dub got me into it. So yeah, I mean better late than never, right?
So I know a lot of the hardcore fans, they consider the Netflix dub and the sub like its own thing because it changes a lot of the contextual things. So a lot of things actually aren't the same as the original sub.
Like the Kairu scene has it. Like there's a lot of the same subtext of kind of the the bisexuality between the two characters, but it doesn't quite commit to it like the original dub does, or the original version of it. So that's a little disappointing as well.
Well, also, but that's also just the that goes along with the times as well, because now they try to make it where they're mirror images of each other, where it's like if you watch the sub or you watch the dub, the only difference that you're really getting nowadays is you're getting different voice actors, or you're getting something different from there. But the main thing that happened back in the day is that they would actually change context around because things were being censored, or there was something that was being said that didn't make sense in the States, like how they were saying it or the way it was being phrased or something like that. So they would change words around, but the thing is that in Japanese, it has a different context to it. So it may kind of mean the same thing, but it also doesn't mean the same thing because it doesn't have what that emphasis behind it as being said in Japanese. So that's also just a thing of the times of being animated back in the 90s. I mean, I think you can also say the same thing with Akira. as well. There's a lot of stuff that if you watch the dub and the sub, there are like scenes that are like wildly different from like actual like what's going on.
Exactly.
And that's purely just like, an American audience wouldn't understand this. Let's just change what they're saying and like make more sense or anything like that. They do that a hell of a lot of times.
Yeah.
And that comes with the evolution.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right with the kind of the evolution of just the anime in America, because I would say, like going from like a Harmony Gold dub in like the 80s of like Robotech, or like I believe they did Dragon Ball for like a couple episodes, and like they literally changed names. Like they changed like Goku to like friggin', I don't know, he's called like Star or something. I fucking
they utterly, like some dubs studios, they just utterly changed the entire anime and they just used it as like a background, and then they just kind of like manipulated the animation to fit the dialogue. Like that. So I mean that's just a thing that happens. I mean, especially in the 90s. I mean, even if you were to go like with like Japanese television, and go and take it with Saban, using it for Power Rangers. That's also the reason why like the Blue Ranger or not the Blue Ranger, I think it's the Yellow Ranger, has a skirt or doesn't have a skirt, because in Japan it's actually a dude.
It's a whole entirely different act, like gender, a whole different character. It doesn't translate exactly. Basically, like, I know what they'll do is they'll send all the costumes over to the US, and then they'll send some of the like the villain costumes over, and then it's up to the US to just make up a story. So sometimes stuff won't translate completely.
Or it's already been filmed.
They use B footage.
Either that or they get it, they just clip it in, and then they dub the whole thing. And then they use like extra frames in case they needed extra time.
Like some shows didn't even make it to, like, some Super Sentai didn't make it over here because it's impossible for the US audiences to understand, like, wait, they're trains? You're a train Power Ranger? Like, I don't understand what this is. So
I know that the Beetlemorphs was like weird.
That's a deep cut right there.
Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Beetleborgs.
It's like Kamen Rider.
That was a weird one.
Big Bad Beetleborgs was a Metaler, I think that's what it's called in Japan. And that was, I think, I might be wrong, but I think it might be part of the Space Gavan and
it's not until it's not until later series in the Power Rangers that they actually film like those like sequences themselves, right? Not lifting it.
It's like half and half. So sometimes they'll use a B-roll from Japan, and then they'll refilm some of the stuff in the US. And
anything that needed them out of their helmets, they would film in the States.
Right.
Like
did you guys ever see that one episode of I think it's like Galactic Power Rangers, where they meet up with the Saban Ninja Turtles? Ninja Turtles.
The crossover.
Crossover. What was it? First off, that's Power Rangers Space, my friend.
Oh, okay.
And I know my Power Rangers. All right, that's Power Rangers Space. Actually, and that was also during the Saban time when they added a fifth turtle,
which the creators hate.
It's a fifth turtle who's a female, because they were just like, well, all the other characters have 5 people, so we need a girl on the team. And it's just like, and she's like the most annoying person ever.
Venus de Milo.
Like, fuck her. Like, I hate her so much.
That was basically Saban basically banking off of Japan, because Japan, in between Super Sentai series, they do something called like a superhero team up movie where they get Kamen Rider, and they make Kamen Rider do a movie with the current Power Ranger series, and it's kind of like their way of saying goodbye to the kids. And the new Super Sentai comes in, and they'll make a cameo to welcome in the new series. But that's what they were trying to do, I guess. What Saban was trying to do. I guess it didn't make sense to anyone.
Saban does it now in every single actual version of like the new Power Rangers. They'll always like bring back like old Power Rangers from like
Tommy.
Fucking Tommy has been like, he's been used in everything because he's the one that's like, his career depends on it the most.
Well, who's the MMA fighter?
That's him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jason David Frank.
Jason David Frank is an MMA fighter. Like, if you ever look at his, like, whenever he's on Power Rangers, you'll notice that he's always has like long sleeves.
Yeah.
He's wearing like either gloves or he has makeup on his hands, and like he's wearing like really high like turtlenecks or something like that. It's because he is tatted all over his body.
That's interesting. We went on like such a weird tangent, but I was just gonna say the Ninja Turtles crossover is like the most '90s thing ever. That's like you can't like top that.
Yeah, but I mean, just to kind of get back on topic, is that the translation into the United States, especially in the '90s, because just animation and because American audiences didn't understand animation, they didn't understand what Japanese TV and different stuff like that. So we used a lot of it to kind of, make our own stories with it, or we translated it so that way it just made sense.
Right. Yeah. It was more like American, which I think in also translations you have to like respect the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there's a couple of things like inside of like Evangelion where like I'm pretty sure it just doesn't make sense inside of like in like American households and stuff like that. Like especially when like they're eating food or like the penguin butler, like that's
Pen.
Yeah, like Pen. Like I think like those are things that just don't make sense inside of like the States. You actually have a
this guy has Ray a Ray decal on his car.
I have a couple Rays.
You have mini Rays. They're like hyper. Oh my god! Put that like right near the camera just to show out the record. Like these are this is instrumentality happening right now.
Oh no!
All these Rays.
So are those just all the?
This one doesn't make any sense. I don't know why.
Where'd you get that from?
It was a gift, and I think it's bootleg. So.
It's probably.
Wow. Can you show that at the camera one more time if anyone's watching on YouTube?
Yeah, what is this referencing? Why does she have a?
I don't know.
Bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow.
Just the merchandise.
But that's an AT field.
Yeah, the merchandising in Japan's weird. Look at all the made outfits for Ray.
One thing I want to bring up because it explains a lot of these weird toys is in Japan, the way that we think of like the MCU, and it's just kind of. They're gonna make merch for that for the next like 30 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of like how Ava is. You just see the merch everywhere. It's like how we think of it. Maybe not Star Wars, but maybe how we think of like Transformers. It's just always there, perpetually there, and it doesn't make sense because Ava is in essence, it's a psychological thriller slash, I guess, kind of like a coming of age show. But people only care about the cool mechs in terms of merch. So it's like, wait, this is kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like if Transformers had some weird existential crisis going on behind in the story.
Well, I was gonna.
I have a question for you. Okay. Do you also have a Ava mouse pad with like a butt? Like
my god.
Oh. No, that's coming up next. It's gonna be an Ava Unit 01.
Oh,
for some reason it has boobs.
Oh, okay. Well, go into your room and go get the body pillow real quick. I want to see that.
I have a mini body pillow at my parents' house.
Oh,
I gotta grab.
Oh no! I was gonna say if you pull out like the Ray like Bade figure, I don't know what to do.
I don't have anything else weird. I have like an Asuka.
Okay, that's cool.
And then I have other Ono stuff on my desk just by accident. So I have this. He did one of the Macross movies back in the 90s.
Oh, okay, really? Oh, I didn't know.
And then
we just know
Shin
that
Godzilla.
Nice. Which is let's throw that out there because we probably said it many times. Shin Godzilla is like one of the best Godzilla films, if not the best, as well. And Ono directed that with another guy, and he delayed. I guess we'll get into that later. He delayed this last Evangelion movie for that.
And plus, he's also doing Shin Ultraman. I'm like, stop picking up projects and just finish what you started.
I know that's Ono, but I guess before we go on the next topic, Terence, what can you say about Ono that would like really describe him?
So I was telling you guys this off cam, but like I kind of think of Ono as like Japanese Tarantino. Okay, so one, he is horribly Gen X. He thinks he's cooler than he really is. He's kind of just a dork. 3, he's an edgelord, but I guess he comes off as an edgelord, but he's not that edgy. I guess he kind of hates who he. So 4, he kind of hates who he is in terms of like you said like he doesn't like otaku, but he's probably a huge otaku. When you're in charge of making the next Godzilla film and the next Ultraman live action film, like yeah, you're probably the J.J. Abrams now, basically of America. You're in charge of 2 of the biggest franchises in Japan, and you're just like, I hate otaku.
He has a wife too, right? Like, I wonder how that's.
Yeah, he's married.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like between them over there.
Do you remember? Have you heard that story that like Miyazaki says about Anu at his wedding, like the tale?
He like says he smells or something like that, or
yeah, he invites Miyazaki to speak at his wedding, and Miyazaki, instead of like giving something insightful, just like rips on Ano for like 30 minutes, saying he smells like, I don't know why you're marrying this guy. And Ano was like, oh, I don't know really what I expected, but I guess there has to be some meaning to this. I just don't know what.
Have you seen Miyazaki's The Wind Rises?
No, I haven't, unfortunately.
So there's a documentary on Miyazaki, and basically just follows him around the studio, and it's during the time he's filming The Wind Rises, and they're like, you know what? Like Miyazaki's just like, you know what? You know who would sound really good for the part of this character? And they're like, who? He's like, Ano. He's like, what? Yeah, Ano. And he's like, so they bring in Ano to just be the voice of a main character in a Miyazaki film.
Really?
Which doesn't make any sense, but
like,
I guess.
Did they go through with it?
Yeah, they went through with it. He's in the original film.
Have you listened to it? Does it sound good?
I watched The Wind Rises, and I haven't seen it since I found that fact out. So I gotta go back and.
It's on. I thought like maybe it's on HBO Max. We don't know.
Oh, it is on there actually.
Oh, okay. There we go.
In the Studio Ghibli collection.
There we go. We could watch it with Ano. But I guess that leads us to our final topic of this podcast, which the hype for Evangelion 3 plus 3.0 plus 1.0 thrice thrice 3 upon a time has been building for years and years, because the last film came out in 2012, and there's been numerous delays, as we said before, and now it got recently delayed because of COVID. Understandably, no one wants, we want everyone to be safe, but there's like this like mythical thing of this movie now. Like, what do we feel about it?
I mean, I know that at the last Anime Expo, I think they screened the first like 15 minutes of it or something like that. So we know it exists in some form. It's not just a trailer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like they have a trailer, they have like an official song for it.
It's great. It's a great song.
I listened to it. I liked it too.
What was it? I think for as of right now, it's on the cutting room floor, and it's probably hopefully they're thinking better about the ending.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Also I'm kind of interested to see how exactly this new movie fits into the world.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily. I mean, if you were to watch the series and then you watch, the movie, it doesn't really leave a lot to go can't wait for the next adventure. It's
even though in the American dub they're like, oh, next time on Evangelion, like look at how exciting this is in this wasteland. Do you remember that?
Repeat that, Gene. Sorry.
No, I said if you remember at the end of the last movie, they're like, oh, in the next movie for Evangelion, like, look at how exciting this will be. 8 years later, still hasn't come out.
Yeah. Have you seen? Okay, do you guys remember when the 1995 VHS releases of the original Star Wars trilogy came out, and they kept showing that that intro where they would interview George for a bit, and they had that kind of like trailer where the tagline was "The saga continues one more time," and that's kind of like what they did for the 3.0 plus 1.0 trailer, where it says something like, "What is it?" The tagline is like, "It ends," or "It's finally the last Eva," or something.
Yeah, it finally ends for everyone.
Like the last adventure or the last Eva, something like that.
Yeah.
So if you think of how much money Star Wars has made George Lucas since that VHS came out, this isn't going to be the last time. So he's probably just he's gonna dial in the ending. No, I'm kidding. But
yeah, hey, what if like it's a live action Evangelion will do after. That'd be cool. But like Terrence, like what like are you hyped for this? I know it's been like years, but like are you excited or what?
I'm always gonna be hyped for anything new, Ava. Like it's to me, it's I'm pretty sure there's still Ano's still gonna make more content after this.
Oh, I'm sure. Like
There's
Oh yeah.
so much that I haven't even
yeah.
even watched yet, or I mean read yet. There's the Slice of Life manga series where they're not really pilots and they're just regular high school students. There's the video games that have been recently translated. There's
Yeah.
all this crap that
Is
you can
that is that
still.
is that the dating one? There's a dating game for it.
There's a dating game that came out. I think it was for maybe PSP or PS2.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff. So I am hyped for the new movie, but like I know this isn't gonna be the end. As long as Ava is still like it's still like how culturally relevant it is in Japan, they're still gonna make stuff for it, even if
Yeah.
it's not Ano.
Yeah, it's like the MCU, like you said. But
Well,
yeah, no. Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm sure like we'll see some of it, but just to see this story end, this particular story, I think is pretty interesting.
well, I think eventually all animes need to come to an end.
Yeah.
Like, eventually,
Dragon Ball
it
did
had,
for a time.
well, yeah, Dragon Ball, it had its ending and stuff like that, leading into Dragon Ball Z, and then Dragon Ball Z, I mean, Dragon Ball Z was supposed to end at the Frieza saga, so I mean,
And the Cell Saga.
we saw how that worked.
Yeah.
But in general, like animes just need to end. I mean, also there is also fatigue when animes
Mhm.
just don't end. Just take for instance, Bleach, or for instance, it didn't end. People are just like annoyed because
Yeah,
every single episode is kind of like the same thing, same
Yeah.
arc, same, like you're changing the characters around so that way they're dealing with new stuff, but it's kind of the same
Yeah.
shit that they were dealing with in last season.
Or even like Pokemon. Pokemon became like a multi generation of kids. It just
yeah,
keeps starting over.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a shame, because honestly, I would have loved to have seen. I think Pokemon would have had such a bigger impact if you would have seen Ash Ketchum grow up,
Meet his
Mhm.
dad.
become a Pokemon master, become whatever it is, what else it is, and then a new anime coming in with a different hero.
Yeah, like
We had-
Digimon.
yeah, honestly, but Digimon is a thing where like they go,
They gotta grow
we're
up.
passing the torch a lot. Yeah, they grow up,
Yeah.
they pass the torch. Other people become digidestined because
Mhm.
you're no longer children. And it's something that the people who made Digimon realize, is that we also have to teach kids how to grow up, how to let go of their childhood. How exactly
Yeah.
do you become an adult?
If
And
you're
how
not
do you-
if you're not J.J. Abrams and with Star Wars, no one would know.
I mean, yeah, but I think that those are like really important things. And
Yeah.
to be totally honest, I would especially since Evangelion is a allegory for depression. It's
Yeah.
all about like being alone, people never calling, people never checking up on you, never
Mhm.
really being wanted.
Yeah.
And stuff. I think that if the next movie was, if you are going to tell a new story about that, then you need to tell the flip side. You need to tell them this is what it means to be wanted. This is their journey to becoming newer people. Because if it's just a further dive into more depression and just like, oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, nothing
Yeah.
is good and everything is just shit, and the world is always going to be bad for me, you're kind of you're basically just getting the series and just telling it all over again. Like, we got the
Yeah,
fucking point.
true.
Tell a different story.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, I would think so too. I mean, like eventually, would want some finality to the stories just to make them more meaningful and impactful, I think. Like the ending for I don't know, like Endgame, I think like, they're still going to keep making movies, but like it felt like an end of an era at least, even if they're going to continue. So we keep tying this back to Avengers and all that and Marvel. But I hope that this last movie is like that at least. It ends like ends an era, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm totally okay with watching an Evangelion movie, and it doesn't have Ano. It doesn't have all these other. I mean, it doesn't have
Mhm.
like the main characters. It's been 15, 20 years since the events of the first movie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, since the first series, and now it's an entirely new generation of kids that are being forced to do this and everything else.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe they found out different ways of doing this, or, you know, there's so many ways to tell a story where you don't have to keep on using the same characters. And maybe
Right.
so that's
Yeah.
the only thing I'm hoping. I just don't want I just don't want it to just kind of die out.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. We'll like wait and see. Hopefully, we could see it during the like pandemic. I mean, it certainly sucks that like we waited all this long and now theaters aren't even fucking open. But gotta be safe and gotta be smart. So you know, hopefully we'll see it like in the future, right?
Yeah.
Before we start it. But before we go, because we're wrapping up here, I guess this leads to the age-old question: who is the better character, Asuka or Rey? Which has dominated fan conversation for a while. I know
I'll let you
Terrence.
go first on this.
We know his answer. No, it's gonna be what's the character with the glasses from the rebuilds?
Oh no, like that.
No,
That's. I'm not trying to get.
yeah, you don't want to get that heat. Like I guess fans don't like her. What's her name?
Mari.
Yeah, people don't like Mari. I think Oscar Ray is like the Betty or Veronica of its time.
So I initially was a huge Ray fan. When I started kind of realizing that like it's probably unhealthy to idolize a character that A is heavily depressed, B has been through physical and emotional trauma,
Yeah,
C is also like kind of just born out of
a jar.
like a personal agenda, and like it's kind of like you know her existence is kind of inhumane also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I probably shouldn't really care for this character. And I used to have two decals on my car. I don't know if you saw, but a while ago, I was at a zine meetup in Orange County. I parked next to another.
oh, I saw
So
this.
yeah, so I have what's called a peeker, where it's like a sticker that kind of peeks out of a window, and I have a Ray peeker, and I parked next to another Civic, same year as mine, and they had a Shinji peeker, and so I was waiting in my car, and that person who owned that car, they were like, "Wait, is that your car?" I'm like, "Yeah," and like we both got out of our cars to take pictures of our cars next to each other.
Wow.
But anyway, so my answer to that is I'm going to I'm going to give a wild card answer. It's Misato because I'm 34. She's a woman in her 30s. It's okay for me to actually have a real crush on this character. So
I thought it
idolizing the
was
teen characters is
Yeah, I mean,
kind of
I
should
wasn't,
be
I
done with.
wasn't. Yeah, I was just saying who is the better character.
Yeah. But some
no,
people idolize Ray and
Yeah.
Asuka, so
well, no, I would say that Masato is the best because I was gonna pick Masato too. Honestly,
yeah.
like before you even said it, I thought you were gonna pick
Good.
Ray, and I was gonna go. I'm gonna go with Masato, and everything else. But no, the main reason which I think Masato is such a great character though is that I do feel like throughout the series she actually has not only character development but
Yeah.
arc.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, like she's kind of like a low level infantry person that grows to be like a major in this military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, but also she's dealing with like everyday problems of like, what do I do?
She goes to work.
How do I
She
raise
actually
this
just goes
kid?
to work.
Yeah.
She just
Like,
this is her job.
Well, I would.
also,
Yeah, I
she
would.
also
I
has
would.
to deal with like real life.
Yeah,
And
I was gonna
that's
say, she does say some suggestive stuff to Shinji that could be interpreted a certain way, but for the most part, she's a very mature character.
Oh, like the part where she tells him, "Hey, good luck," and kisses him on the mouth.
Yeah, that's
That part.
not so great.
I think it's like episode 2. She says like, "Oh yeah, Shinji's gonna stay with me. Don't worry, nothing's gonna happen."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about there's that one episode where like he's mourning. I think like after Asuka gets messed up and she's like, "Oh, is there anything I could do for you?" And I think she like touches him slightly, and like it's supposed to be the implication that like kind of like sex and like sort of sexuality is really the only way she could like comfort people, and like that's not certainly great, or like whatever. But like it's a very like revealing moment for that character. Like she's so broken,
Well, yeah, because the only thing is that for Kaji, like that was kind of like her only real connection to him.
Yeah.
Like she dug him, but she didn't like. The only thing she knew about him is that she kind of wanted to fuck him.
Yeah.
Right, he's a very attractive guy, so
Yeah, I mean,
you got that ponytail going on, that 90s
Yeah,
ponytail.
She likes guys with ponytail with a little bit of scruff. All right,
Yeah.
cool, nice to know.
There you go.
Nice to know.
That's where you're headed, Nick.
Yeah, that's why I started growing the beard.
Yeah.
my God.
But the what was it? But the main thing is that like especially after he, spoiler alert, I mean it's an anime that came out like 1995.
Yeah.
If you have not fucking seen it, sorry. But after Keiji dies, and like it's the moment when she's like sitting next to the phone, and then she realizes that there's another message from him, kind of like a goodbye message. She basically says it's a phone that'll never ring again. And it's a further descent into despair, where she's kind of like the lively one that's always trying to get all of them to do stuff.
Yeah, she's the den mother.
Yeah, she's very much the den mother, and like now she's following into the same kind of despair that Shinji has, where she even says like, "Oh yeah, he has a cell phone, but he never uses it. Like no one ever calls him. He's always
Right.
alone."
Mhm.
And now she's kind of going into that same path. That's why I really like her as a character, because
Hedgehog still enough.
yeah, but I really love the idea of like, she has pain, she has sorrow, she has like shit that she has to get over, and everything like that. Whereas a lot of the other main characters, shit just kind of happens to them, and then they react and stuff.
Which
like
is,
that.
I guess, that's what being a teenager kind of
is.
really is. Yeah.
Kind of is.
Yeah, everyone complains about Shinji, but it's like when people bitch about Shinji, it's like when people complain about like Holden Caulfield, like he's whiny. It's like you were exactly fucking whiny when you were that age. Shut up. Please stop talking with that criticism.
Well, okay, hold on. There's a difference. Like there is a difference. I do agree. Yes, as a 12 14-year-old kid, I was probably a whiny little asshole too. That's fine. But there are moments where Shinji is kind of a bitch.
When he like ends the world.
Well, yeah.
When the world ends and he ends the world and he
yeah.
Like,
I think that most Shinji's just not very proactive as a protagonist.
Yeah, and that's not exactly like the greatest like quality in a protagonist.
Right.
Everything like that.
Not the word.
That's what kind of draws me away from him, where I do not connect to Shinji like whatsoever. I do not connect to her. What was it? Asuka, I don't fucking connect to her as well. I just think she's a fuck bitch. I just like the whole fucking time. She's a bitch. I was just like, I don't care about
Well, I guess that's going to lead me to my answer, which I was going to go with Asuka. Like, I think Asuka has like more nuance than like people give her credit for. I think like Asuka really, when you see like when the angel like infiltrates her mind, like all the deep sort of like sorrow she has with her mom, and like it really messed her up. And, like even stuff where she's trying to like proposition like Kaji, because like that's the only way she knows how to kind of like get to like other people, or like she can't connect with Shinji, so she tries to like forcibly like kiss him, and it doesn't go her way, and then like she gets taken aback. I think like the character has like a lot more nuance, and like I mean she's like angry, but that's all teenagers. But yeah, and I think like it's kind of a funny character too, where she's just always yelling. Kind of think that's.
Yeah, but I mean, to be totally honest, it's a problem I have with a lot of anime, because a lot of anime have those characters that are just kind of dicks to the main character.
Right. Tsundere, that's the archetype.
Yeah, where in general, like they're fond of the main character, but they don't know how to show it, so they're just assholes to them, and everything else. Hers is irrational.
Yeah. And
not only that, but also the idea of she wants to be a pilot, just so that way she can be recognized, so that way she can have a purpose in life. It's an interesting fact, and it's an interesting like goal and everything like that. But the only problem is throughout the series of it, she makes that statement, but she doesn't necessarily like make it come to pass.
Yeah.
Everything like that. Like
She
a lot
doesn't
of the
back
time
it
she's
up.
just always talking down to the rest of the team instead of being like, yeah, like we can do this or something like that. It's always just like a bitchy comment that she just has, and it's like, all right, like I'm fucking done with you. Just fucking, I hope you die in this mission. Like I'm really hoping you die in this mission.
Well, Ray does in that one episode.
Yeah, like that's great. Like that was a good episode. I mean, Ray was an interesting character, especially when like you find out that she's a fucking clone and shit like
Yeah,
that.
what does like Ano say? Like, oh yeah, like that one episode, he's like, oh yeah, I forgot about her.
Yeah, like
I
what the
forgot
fuck?
about Ray for like a whole episode. She's like in one scene, I think, and he also like finishes her like arc, like way ahead of like the ending for the show. Like
Yeah.
she ends her arc like on episode like 8 or something, and for like 16 episodes, she's like, oh yeah, like just around.
Yeah, she's just in the background, or she like has like 2 lines, and then you're
She
just
doesn't
like,
talk.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, she just doesn't talk.
we're friggin' Ano.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, that's also the other problem with, I mean, not necessarily a problem, but it's also it shows its age.
Yeah.
Just because, what was it like? In general, it's an anime that like has characters and then like doesn't use them correctly or doesn't know how to use them because they're just like, oh yeah, like we have to focus on like these 2 main characters.
Right.
And they don't give everybody either a complete arc or their arc ends early and then they just go, all right, well, just put that on the shelf until we need it, and then
Yeah. Some anime creators like we've talked about are just eccentric, let's say. I guess,
Honestly, Gendo is a great character as well.
Yeah, Gendo is basically Ano.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we
He's a
didn't
bad
get
father.
I mean a bad. No, that's Miyazaki's a terrible dad.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean I wish we could get into every character, but like our time is like wrapping up right now. But any last thoughts on Evangelion before we wrap, guys?
Yeah, I think that it's definitely an anime that you can put down in the history books of anime. It's definitely up there on like if I was gonna like go like, oh yeah, like some of the iconic animes of like the last like 30 years, I would definitely put it up there.
Yeah.
It has a lot of influences and stuff like that, but the show does have its flaws, and it has aged over the years. And I say take it with a grain of salt, watch it, have fun with it, and don't get too mad at the ending.
There you go. Terrence?
Yeah, I think a lot of what Nick said, but also, I mean, a lot of people like don't take away, like they don't take this from the ending, but we talked about it earlier, is that the whole point is that in the end, you should, instead of wanting people to want you, you have to just learn to be okay with yourself. And a lot of people just focus on the whole depression part or the pain and the coming of age aspect. But it's like, you know what? Like there is a lesson. You just have to learn that, like, okay, if you keep pushing people away, you might inadvertently help or at least cause the third impact.
Yeah.
So
the world
just
will end.
be okay with yourself, learn to like love yourself, love others, but don't take it out on people who don't deserve it, aka the rest of humanity. So.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, like that's a good note to end on. I couldn't say it better. Like I think it's a very positive anime with surprisingly like a lot of really good messages, life lessons. What to do and like what not to do. Which we saw in end of Evangelion. Don't do anything Shinji does until the end. Until the end. But with that, I guess we'll end the show. Where can Nick? Where can people find you at?
Find me on Facebook and also find me on Instagram and oh my god, Instagram and Twitter at the Nick Valero. Also, I'll be a guest host on the Bonobo podcast, which is going to be airing tomorrow. Nice. If you want to go catch it live, you can go to Delta Monkey Gaming on Twitch, and we will be talking more about anime. And if you guys want to go kind of check it out, you can go check that out. I imagine the show is going to air after that, so this is going to be kind of weird. Yeah. But go check them out. Go check out Bonobo Gaming. They'll probably have the entire thing and everything else. So go check it out.
We'll try to put a link in the bio for that.
Yeah.
Cool. Terrence, where can people find you at? Any plugs, promotions?
Yeah, I have 2 accounts that I kind of go between. So HBYM_music. It's like my band account. and my personal account at Terence James 1R, where I deliver some cool takes. Like I think one last week was men will literally write 20 years worth of manga instead of going to therapy. So you can find some gold nuggets there.
Yeah, I liked your. There's been a lot of Bernie memes. We have one on our Instagram already, but it was the Bernie, like the book of Bernie you did.
Oh yeah,
that was a great meme. So yeah, definitely follow Terrence there. You can follow me on G9892 on Twitter and Instagram, and you could also follow the Waffle Press on Twitter at the Waffle Press and on Instagram at the Waffle Press Podcast. You could like, share, subscribe on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and iTunes and Spotify. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We've been professionally unprofessional. Congratulations.
congratulations! Thanks for having me.